With Elon Musk as an example, should we change eligibility for president? By Douglas Mackinnon. When SpaceX founder and Tesla CEO Elon Musk spoke recently at the United States Air Force Academy, thousands of cadets in attendance jumped to their feet as one when he was introduced, breaking into a thunderous applause and cheers as they whipped out their smartphones to film him. Now, I have argued that Donald Trump's election as president in 2016, reminder, Donald Trump lost an election in 2020, by the way, was akin to catching lightning in a bottle. After his election, we witnessed the predictable, ego-driven thought pattern among some in the billionaire class. Starbucks, Howard Schultz. Schutz? I thought his name was Schultz. This guy apparently says Schutz. I'm going to call him more like Shits. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Former Disney CEO Bob Iger, I guess. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban. And JP Morgan chairman Jamie Dimon. Like half of these people, who even knows who they are, whose inner circle of voices seem to be telling them, well, if that clown can get himself elected as president of the United States, surely I can. Did Jamie Dimon run for president? I don't remember that happening. Except they couldn't. Not if they spent millions of dollars of their own money. Not one of them has that ultra-elusive it factor. Like the clown from outer space? Like him or hate him, Trump has that factor in spades. At least in the minds of more than 74 million voting Americans. I will never get over that. 74 million people voted for Donald Trump. 74 million? Stupid ass, dumb, fuck, shit for brains, loser, dumb fuck, motherfuckers. 74 million of them voted for Donald Trump. Like, I can't imagine voting for Trump in any capacity, 2016 or 2020. Right? Like, you gotta be pretty fucking dumb. That said, the fact that more people voted for him in 2020 than 2016 will never cease to amaze me. Like, in 2016, he at least pretended a little bit to care about someone other than himself. A little bit. Like, I mean, imagine falling for that shit, right? But, like, in 2020, he didn't even pretend. Like, the whole election was about, we hate black people! Woo! Republicans! Like, that was the whole election. And so he got more votes. I can't. Like, what's the delta between 16 and 20? Like, that many people saw what happened and were like, yeah, I love this guy. That's the guy I'm going to choose. It's insane. Many voters have soured on America's career politicians from both political parties. Once again, I'm just reading. This is from The Hill. Douglas Macalacaloo-da-da-da-da. Except they couldn't! Wait, I already read. Many voters have soured on America's career politicians from both political parties. And Trump's election made that a shocking reality. But it still was an election that would not have been possible without the candidate's special it factor. Today, it can be argued that two people well outside the career politician bubble probably have enough of that same personality factor to at least shake the foundation of an election cycle. One is Joe Rogan, host of the Joe Rogan Experience, who signed a $200 million deal with Spotify to broadcast his massively popular program exclusively. Rogan's influence among some Republicans, conservatives, and libertarians appears to be growing by the day. God, could you imagine Joe Rogan running for president? I feel like Joe Rogan is one of those people, I genuinely do. I think he's a garbage can man. But I think Joe Rogan, if he were like the libertarian candidate or like any independent third-party candidate, you know what I mean? Like, I think he has, if anyone has a shot at doing the third-party route, I think Joe Rogan has a shot. I'm just saying. And I hate this motherfucker. But he doesn't strike me as someone who would run as a Republican or a Democrat. I feel like he would, if he were to run for president, he would do that. I think he would take that independent third-party mantle. That's what I think. And I think if anyone could do a third party, I think Joe Rogan could do it. I don't think that's a very short list of people that I think could pull off a third-party run. And by that, I just mean in anything that's not Republican or Democrat. It doesn't have to be a party. It could be independent. But I think he has that chance. And I hope to God he doesn't run. Because that would be, at least he'd legalize weed, right? Like, so. But anyway. The other person is Elon Musk. Unlike Rogan, however, Musk is not a native-born American citizen. Born in South Africa, he became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2002. That's a citizenship category that the Constitution prohibits from becoming U.S. president or vice president. As the world's wealthiest person, I'm very, very, very skeptical of that claim. As maybe the West's wealthiest person, maybe. But the world's wealthiest person, I don't think so. I think Putin is the world's wealthiest person. There is no doubt that Musk rocks to the beat of his own drummer. He is a disruptor of the status quo, unafraid to speak his mind. His latest flirtation with Twitter, which could involve a hostile takeover of the company, has caused many on the left to attack him and many on the right to champion him. Because of this, some of my friends have asked my opinion about what if Elon Musk presidency. When I explained that the Constitution makes such a scenario impossible, they responded, change it. Well, you don't even have to change it, right? Like, the 14th Amendment, specifically Section 3, says if you engage or give aid and comfort to those who engage in an insurrection against the United States, you are banned from running and you will be expelled from office. That's in the Constitution. 14th Amendment, Section 3. Yet, Madison Cawthorn, still there. Yet, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Tom Cotton, they're all still there. So, the Constitution doesn't matter. So, why not let Elon Musk run for president? Oh, the Constitution. What? What? The Constitution? Like, is this a joke? In half of this country, in Republican states, in order to work for the government or anywhere in the public sector, including being a school teacher, you need to literally sign a loyalty pledge to the government of Israel. In half of the states in this country, Republican-led states, in order to work in the public sector, you need to pledge loyalty to the government of Israel. What? Free speech. I thought that's in the First Amendment. Nope, you have no free speech in this country. Constitutionally, I should be allowed to call a cop to his face a pig-brained shitbag. And yet, depending on what cop you're talking to, they will beat the shit out of you. Unconstitutional, by the way, against the amendment for protection from cruel and unusual punishment. And that would be against free speech. And yet, you can go anywhere. It just depends on the cop. It's a random dice roll. So, the Constitution doesn't matter. The Constitution has never mattered. Second Amendment. Oh, everyone loves the Second Amendment. Oh! Right? Look at California. California's got some of the strictest gun laws in the country. Who signed those into law? Ronald Reagan. A far right-wing lunatic. Why would he want to sign legislation that restricts people's right to own guns? Oh, because black people had too many guns, And black people would host demonstrations with their guns outside of government buildings to protect people from white racists. So they took your right to own guns away in California. Why? Well, because the black people had too many of them. So fuck the Constitution. So I'm just saying, the Constitution doesn't fucking matter. I can list off every amendment, every part, every article of the Constitution and tell you when it's been violated. The Constitution is garbage. It doesn't matter. Let's be real. Let's all be honest. None of that shit matters. But anyway, let's keep going. This begs the question, should the Constitution be amended to allow naturalized American citizens to run for president and vice president? I think so. All U.S. citizens should have the same rights and opportunities. But I don't get to override the Constitution, and neither do the rest of us. Except for the Republican Party, by the way. The Republican Party can say, fuck the Constitution, tear it into pieces. So, blah, 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 blah. Ironically, an accurate rating of this clause tells us that there was an exception. If you're an immigrant American citizen at the time the Constitution was ratified in 1788, you are eligible to run for president. So why should it be any different 234 years later? To add to the unfairness, our current system does allow naturalized U.S. citizens to become members of Congress, governors, flag officers in our military, and justices of the U.S. Supreme Court. I don't know why I'm reading this with the fancy accent, probably because these are like billionaire brain shitfucks. Amending the Constitution is a daunting task in the best of times. And then, guess what? Amending the Constitution doesn't do anything because people can just say, fuck that amendment and not follow it. Like the previous examples. And also the amendments themselves, not so good. In today's politically polarized time, it's hard to imagine that an amendment to allow naturalized citizens to run for president or vice president would get 2/3 majority needed in the House and Senate, and the necessary ratification from 3/4 of our state legislatures. I mean, Elon Musk could start the campaign, change the Constitution, right? And then they'll all do it. Could Elon Musk get elected to the White House? Maybe. But we'll never know. And perhaps we all are the poorer for that discriminatory constitution. Like, okay, so wait a second. All right, I love this last line. This last line is great. All right, check this out. And perhaps we are all the poorer for that discriminatory constitutional clause. Like, the real problem with the Constitution, right, is not that it explicitly says only white landowning men can vote. The real problem with the Constitution is not all the free speech loopholes or the, unreasonable search and seizure loopholes, right, that allow the NSA to exist, right? The problem with the Constitution is not that the amendment banning slavery, quote, except for as punishment when you go to jail, you're a slave, right? So that's not a problem. The real discriminatory nature of the Constitution, that the real heart of the issue is that billionaire dude Elon Musk can't be president. That's the real problem that really affects us all. Douglas Mack, a political and communications consultant, was a writer in the White House for Presidents Ronald Reagan and George H. And former special assistant for policy communications at the Pentagon during the last 3 years of the Bush administration. His latest book, The 56 Limited Lessons from Those Who Risked It All to Sign the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, we should really care what this guy has to say. But, trying to get some comic relief on the show here today. My God.